it would be sacrilegious to start the show any other way than with the man himself delivering the quote that we all know is on his t-shirt.
You're killing me, Smalls.
Yes, and David has informed me that he is in fact not wearing the t-shirt today.
I forgot. The one time it's important, I forgot.
We talked yesterday as well because we recorded our Oscars episode, and I said to David, make sure you wear the shirt, but I'm pretty sure he left right before I said that.
In my defense, I just got back from work, so I'm wearing my work shirt.
That's okay.
So you can't fully blame me.
Although I can't believe that this would happen on the one episode
I know.
where you can actually wear the shirt.
Hey, it's all right. I'll make it up by wearing it for the rest of the season.
That I do believe, and I think that will be accidental the entire time.
Yes. That's the thing. When I'm supposed to, I don't. But then, like, when it doesn't matter and is accidental, then it happens every time. So that's just who I am.
Yeah. Well, I guess you'll wear it next week, and we'll check in. I will be sure to remind everyone.
Yes.
I guess we should get into the episode. But since you're not wearing the shirt, I have to say, shout out Armenia. I'm sorry. Hello, Jennifer.
I'll give it to you. It's fine. It's, I deserve it this episode. I deserve it. David, as usual, joined by the co-host, Brandon.
As usual. And tonight, David is recording from his parents' bathroom because we cannot get him a stable internet connection. So
yes, this is the best spot, which maybe answers why everyone is on their phone when they go to the bathroom, because the internet's just really good there.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
We got a lot to talk about today because we have one of David's favorite movies ever.
That's right.
That he has talked about probably the most of any movie on this podcast.
I have been looking forward to this for so long because I've been wanting to show you this specific movie forever. So
before we watched it, my dad said, and my sister said, I'm pretty sure you've seen this before. And guess what? I have not.
Honestly, I'm happy.
They were completely wrong. As soon as it started, I was like, no, I've never seen this before, which I already knew from the log line.
No, I'm very happy that you hadn't, just because, I don't know, I think it'll be nice for you to enter this blind.
All I knew is there was a little bit of baseball involved. That's about it. And I knew it was set in the 60s in the San Fernando Valley, which everyone knows is part of LA.
Yes.
And you know what else is part of LA? The South Bay cities, which aren't technically part of LA, but they're part of the general vibe of LA County.
A tiny sliver of them are.
Yes, exactly.
That little line.
Exactly. The harbor, or whatever it's called, that goes all the way down to San Pedro. But we're talking about the Beach Boys today, too, who are also the 60s and also in LA. So, I think we got a pretty good connection today. That's what I'd like to say.
I feel like it fits. Before we talk about that, though, we got to talk about what we watched and what we listened to.
Exactly.
I'm going to talk about what I talked about in the Oscars episode, which for all the listeners, that came out a long time ago, but that's because we recorded them one day after another. So that gives you guys a little hint into what our recording life is like.
Yeah, I need time to edit. With the Oscars, it doesn't matter. We want to get that up right away. But now I got exactly. Now I have to polish us to make us listenable.
Yes.
And I need some time to do that.
But I watched Marty Supreme at this point, like a month and a half ago or something like that. If you heard the Oscars episode, you probably know how I feel about it. I think it's really, really good. It's a 4.5 out of 5 for me. Now, I am not a big Timothée Chalamet guy. I think he's fine. I think he's a solid actor, but I don't think he's like this amazing actor or anything like that. And his like real life, just self, doesn't seem like the person that I would like get along with very well.
Kylie Jenner, you're not a fan?
Exactly. She's not Armenian.
I don't think she claims to be.
Good.
Because her dad is Caitlyn Jenner.
That's true.
That sentence is wrong. Her... I don't know how to say that.
One
My
of her
apologies.
parents is Caitlyn Jenner.
Yes, correct. And then the other one is Kris Jenner, who's not Armenian. Neither one of them is Armenian.
That's a good point. Okay, I take it back.
I guess she just got a bunch of facial reconstruction surgery to look like her Armenian sisters. Well, allegedly Armenian sisters.
Well, I'm sorry, they all got facial stuff to look like each other, kind of.
Yeah. And then Kris Jenner got facial reconstruction surgery to look like her daughters, which is insane.
Yes.
But like in a scary way, not like in a that's their mother way, in a that's their sister way.
Yeah, she looks like a porcelain doll.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, Marty Supreme, sorry.
But Marty Supreme. But my whole point of talking about like Timothée Chalamet is that I think that he gives his best performance in this film. Like, I totally forgot I was watching him.
Better than Call Me By Your Name?
Yes.
Whoa.
I think he is really good in Call Me By Your Name. But I do kind of feel like once you get to know him, his persona outside of acting, you can definitely see parts of that in Call Me By Your Name. It's not a bad thing. It still really works. It's perfect for that film. And I think it helped that he was also younger, and not a celebrity yet. But I feel like Marty Supreme was the first time that I totally forgot that it was him. But yeah, 4.5. I think he is going to win Best Actor, and I think it's deserved.
Hell yeah.
But now I'm throwing the question to you. What have you been listening to? And what is your song of the week?
I've been listening to an EP by Skrillex. Remember that name. He's going to come up pretty shortly.
Hint, hint.
This EP is called Cora, and it's 3 songs. I rated it a 4, so technically it's on my list for the year end, but it's also 3 songs, so I'm going to have to decide if it survives the rest of the year, if that's worth being on there or not. Anyway, if you know anything about Skrillex, you know that he likes dubstep and he produces dubstep. In this EP, I don't even know where to begin with it. There are no drums in it. It is like an ambient kind of thing, but it's like if electronic dance music didn't have drums in it, because it's still produced like it's a dance song, but it isn't. It's super unique. I've never heard anything like it. It's very cinematic, and I think you would probably enjoy it, and it's weird. So if you like weird stuff that's also cinematic, you might enjoy it. But yeah, I've just had no idea what to expect with this, and I was kind of blown away.
That's very intriguing. I'm looking forward to hear something of Skrillex at some point. I don't know what my opinion will be, but I am looking forward to it.
The more I think about it, I think your opinion is going to be a lot like 100 Gex, where you're going to say this is just not good. But I'm hoping for the otherwise, because Skrillex is very like foundational in EDM, and I guess kind of like the EDM that crossed over into pop music in the 2010s.
Right.
So it'll be a very interesting experience, but that's in the future. You got to wait a few weeks for that. And you don't even know what we're going to do of Skrillex's. So you just know that he's going to be in the canon for season 1 of Uncultured Pop Culture. But I also have a song this week. This is the first song that I added to my liked songs that came out this year. And my God, is it a banger. It's called Wall of Sound by Charlie XCX.
Oh,
I did not know that she was releasing this song. I've been kind of not necessarily underwhelmed by the Wuthering Heights soundtrack / album, whatever the hell this is going to be. But the songs haven't like captured me that much until this one, which feels like a song from her pseudo self-titled Charlie album from 2019. But it's layered over a bed of these huge strings that are just beautiful. It's only her, and it's produced by Finn Keen, who's a great producer and who she's worked with for probably like 8 years at this point. I don't even know what to say about this. It is nothing like anything she's done before. Kind of like the Skrillex EP, weirdly. It's super unique, and it's probably not going to be a hit, but it will be a hit to me because I have not stopped listening to the song since it came out. So, big fan, highly recommend. That's all I got to say this week. I think that's all you have to say. So I think it's time for us to say a bunch of things about the Beach Boys. This is Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys. This is their 11th studio album. More on that in a bit. It was released May 16th, 1966 by Capitol Records. It was preceded by 2 singles, Caroline No and Sloop John B. And they were released 3 weeks apart from each other in March of 1966. The album was also followed by a double single, Wouldn't It Be Nice and God Only Knows, which was released in July 1966. And as far as I can tell, that was a double A-side single. So like I said, this is their 11th album.
That's crazy.
And only album of 1966. The band started in 1961.
What the
They
hell?
released one album in 62 and 3 each year from 63 through 65.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's how they used to do music in like the 60s. It was insane. You'd do multiple albums a year because you'd record them in like 3 days and you wouldn't be writing the songs most of the time. It would just be mostly covers. Brian Wilson, who's the lead singer of the Beach Boys, thought of Pet Sounds as a solo album for himself. And hot take, I can kind of feel that in the music of this album, but we'll talk about that more later. This is, of course, evident from the lack of involvement of the other band members, seemingly because Wilson's controlling behavior. And he ended up writing most of the songs with Tony Asher, who is one of his friends, and he brought in way too many session musicians that I can count, which obviously did not go over well with the rest of the band, which all played instruments and were not allowed to play their instruments on the album, essentially. At this time, the Beach Boys consisted of rhythm guitarist Al Jardine, Bruce Johnston, who played keyboards and bass, and Mike Love on saxophone and percussion, all of whom were only allowed to sing on the album. They did not play a single instrument. Drummer Dennis Wilson, who played drums on That's Not Me, and guitarist Carl Wilson played guitar on 2 songs. And then, of course, Brian Wilson, who did essentially everything on this album. But pretty much all of the band members didn't really contribute outside of having their voice on certain songs that they were allowed to sing on. I have to mention that Brian was inspired by Phil Spector's Wall of Sound recording technique, which of course is a great connection to my song of the week called Wall of Sound. I do not believe the song Wall of Sound uses the Wall of Sound technique, but that technique is used throughout this album. This album was conceived to be the greatest rock album of all time, but also the greatest pop album of all time. And I'm not sure what is really going on there, or if it was a classic case of everyone saying that pop and rock are the same genre, which they of course are not.
Right.
But people used to say that pretty much into the 90s.
Well, I feel like you had some crossover where there were a lot of rock bands that were also just very popular. So I get it from that perspective, but it's not true.
Right. That's kind of a case of where people confuse popular music with pop music, which is a separate genre and separate style of songwriting. But, you know, that's my own problem. Anyway, Brian Wilson was heavily influenced by LSD and marijuana because it was the 60s in California. It was overshadowed by the Beatles, this album was, but it has since been given its flowers, and Rolling Stone considers it number 2 on the 500 greatest albums of all time.
Oh, wow.
So I would say that's quite an achievement.
That is quite an achievement.
Much like a lot of the other older albums that we cover on here, there's more written about this album and the history of the Beach Boys than I can ever talk about on this podcast. So feel free to look it up if you're interested. All songs on this album are produced by Brian Wilson, and I'm not sure who mixed or mastered this because it's been remastered multiple times and only general engineers are listed in the credits. I believe from doing more research since I wrote that, I think Brian Wilson mixed everything, but I do not know who mastered it, and I don't know if the version we listened to was remastered because there's so many different ones on Spotify. So, and now I have to tell you your favorite song on here. It's either going to be Wouldn't It Be Nice or Don't Talk, Put Your Head on My Shoulder.
We'll see. I'm not even going to try and guess for you, to be honest. I have no idea.
Do you have a favorite song? I probably should have asked that before I told you.
I do.
Okay, good.
I kind of have a least favorite, but it's like 3 songs that all could be a least favorite. So, yeah.
I'm sensing Kesha effect.
We'll see.
Let's start with track number 1, Wouldn't It Be Nice? This one was written by Brian Wilson, Mike Love, and Tony Asher, and lead vocals are by Brian Wilson and Mike Love. This song may have been written about Brian Wilson's sister-in-law, whom he was in love with. So shout out to that, I guess.
Wow, that's very 60s.
It was recorded, very insane. It was recorded with 16 studio musicians, which I find to be insane. That's a theme of most of this album, is they brought in 16 to 20 people all playing and recording at the same time, which I don't know how they did the mic setup for that. That's wild. Back in the 60s even.
Well, I'm also like... Did they need to? I don't feel like you can tell.
I don't know. I mean, there's some people that would come in and like play the triangle, but that was a thing. So, you never know.
That's true.
Anyway, this song has key changes and tempo changes, but you know what? I still enjoy it. It did get slightly ruined for me learning that he was in love with his wife's sister, and that's what the perfect world is supposed to be, but I still like it enough to give it a 3.5.
Whoa, okay. I gotta say,
this was almost a 4.
That is so much higher than I thought you were gonna give this. Going into this, I was like, oh yeah, I'll probably be fine. And it is. It's a perfectly nice song. But I gotta be honest, I just find this style to be pretty boring.
Ooh.
Yes. I kind of knew what to expect, but I also didn't because I never really listened to any of their stuff in full. But it kind of did just live up to the expectations I had, where I would just be like, this is a 3. I gotta say, I am surprised you like it as much as you do.
See, this is the thing. I like old music sometimes. I like really old music most of the time. I like this like bubblegum pop stuff from like the 50s and 60s. That's my like stuff from the old days.
It can definitely be very effective. Yeah.
What can I say? I like pop music.
I just prefer the rock of the 60s. I did want to say this song is calling us to be roommates.
I mean, yeah, but then I'm going to have to fall in love with your wife's sister. So I guess, I don't know. Or no, I guess maybe you fall in love with my sister. I don't know how that works.
Okay, I take it back. We're not being roommates.
Yeah, I don't think we can. Not.
I didn't think about that.
Not with what this song like foretells.
Yeah, with that new context, I take it back.
Yeah, there's a lot of that throughout this album. I'm not going to read a lot. Each of these songs has Wikipedia pages, by the way. So if you want to look that up, there's a lot of information about them. A lot of them, though, are like Brian Wilson was in love with this girl, maybe. And that's like the genesis of the song. And it's like, okay, cool. I'm not going to say that for every time. It's like, oh, here's a new girl that he was in love with while he's married. Like, okay, whatever.
Man, it's just those 60s people, huh?
I am tempted to say that's just like how like men who are musicians are, but I won't say that, even though I kind of did.
You will hint at it.
Exactly, I'm hinting at it. I'm throwing it out there in the universe. Do with that what you will. Anyway, track number 2. This is what I'm saying all the time. You Still Believe in Me.
We all do.
Written by Brian Wilson and Tony Asher. Lead vocals by Brian Wilson. This is from Wikipedia. The lyrics are about a man who, while acknowledging his irresponsible behavior and unfaithfulness, is impressed by the unwavering loyalty of his lover, who is left shouldering the stability of their relationship. Wilson's then wife, Maryland, surmised that this choice of subject matter was indebted to the couple's marital struggles at the time. So, yeah, I wonder why they had marital struggles.
Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder what could have caused that.
Yeah, I wonder if there's any hint inside of this song what could have caused that. I said that musically this song sounds pretty nice, but I'm not a fan of the lyrics. I don't like cheating that much. I don't know what to tell you. And I also said shout out to Julius Wechter on the bicycle bell and Hal Blaine on the bicycle horn.
Ooh.
So those are 2 of the studio musicians that were in this song. They had to play the bicycle bell and bicycle horn just at the end of the song. I rated this song a 2.5. It does nothing for me.
Yeah, this song is very in line with the last song for me. Maybe in some ways the production is a little bit more interesting, but like I said before, this style isn't really for me. It kind of feels one note, to be honest. And that is something that just exists throughout the album. The Kesha Effect was going strong.
Already on track 2.
Already. I mean, it only got stronger too.
God.
So this is a 3. Again, kind of keeping stable because, like, again, it's not bad. It just kind of meh.
This is very interesting because you said this is one note. I'm going to kind of like spoil what I think about the album overall.
At least for me, it's one note.
I feel like this is so much more lush than a lot of the older music that we were doing on the podcast because there's just so much stuff going on all the time in the songs and it's so much more interesting. It keeps my attention. So I don't know, maybe it is one note and I just don't hear it because this is like what I like, but I feel like I can tell that a lot of these songs are like very different to me.
It's the fact that a lot of the songs sound similar. And then it's also, I feel like a lot of the songs, both melodically and in terms of like how the instruments are used in the background, it feels like repetition throughout the whole song, which makes it feel kind of one note to me. It's less about like, oh, like the depth of it versus like what they're doing with instruments. I don't know.
Interesting. There's a lot of weird structures on here too, and like kind of uncommon things happening. So I don't know. I just find that interesting that's more what you got from it, because to me, this is like way more interesting than Black Sabbath or Bruce Springsteen or anything like that. Like, I feel like that's just fully one note.
Those rank the same as this to me.
Okay.
I feel like those are one note like this. Like I agree that those are also one note. At least to me, they are one note. But I think this kind of falls into that same like sphere.
Interesting.
Where stuff like the Beatles doesn't. And that's actually a note that I had. When I was listening to this, I was thinking to myself about the Beatles, and I think for the first time I understood what people meant when they talk about how like the Beatles was a fresh sound, or it made people realize like the new things you could do with music. Because that's kind of how I felt comparing the Beatles to this.
Interesting. To me, this is just like a Beatles ripoff, the whole album.
I mean, it feels kind of like a...
Not to say it's not bad or not good. Sorry.
I mean, I can see that, but I don't know, that doesn't help it for me because it kind of just feels like a really weak imitation, not gonna lie.
I mean, that's fair. I have that note down for one of the songs on here.
Right.
So we'll get to that eventually.
We will? That's
but
right.
Yeah, I'm just, I'm trying to understand where you're coming from, but it might be you don't like old pop music, which is fine, because
it might be.
You know, I'm still learning what you like, because you seem to like modern pop music a lot more than I expected.
There is stuff I like. I think it's just much more specific. Like it just depends on the song and the artist, kind of. Because I enjoy like some of the crooner stuff, some of the 50s stuff, but I will say, whenever I'm listening to it, it's not something that I can just put on for a whole album. I get tired of it very fast, versus, you know, like with modern pop, I can listen to a whole album, no problem, and I'm enjoying it. So it definitely, I'm not as interested in it as, you know, some other people.
The Frank Sinatra fandom is alive and well.
That's right. I like some of his songs.
Yeah, he's all right. King of Christmas, maybe. I don't know if that's his name.
Old Blue Eyes.
Yeah, Old Blue Eyes. Mr. Mafia.
Yeah, I was about to say. There's Mafia connections.
All right, we got track number 3 here. That's Not Me. I'm always saying this. Written by Brian Wilson and Tony Asher. Lead vocals on here are by Mike Love. Brian Wilson did not do lead vocals, which is crazy. This song is about a young man who leaves his hometown and his old life behind. I wrote that this song feels very The Graduate coded, and it's fine, but it doesn't leave much of an impression on me. This is a 2.5. I feel like it was kind of stupid for me to argue that I liked this album and then rate these songs a 2.5. Spoiler alert, there's another 2.5 coming up pretty shortly.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, it's not in the next song, though. I'll spoil that for you. I don't know. I will say this again at the end of the album. This album is better as an album than as individual songs. I feel like a lot of the songs on here are kind of forgettable, but I feel like the album as a whole is pretty interesting, in my opinion. But this song is whatever. It's a 2.5.
I mean, I agree. If it wasn't obvious. This is where the Kesha effect like officially set in, I will say. Because I was kind of like, wait, this sounds like the last song. Which, hey, it's not always a bad thing.
It might be this time, though.
Well, this time it will be, especially as we go on. I was thinking more about the Kesha album itself. But yeah, this is the 3. I don't have much to add. And the more I was listening, the more I was struggling to come up with things to say. I'm sorry.
Wow. This is interesting.
I did not think that you would like this more than me.
I didn't either. But yesterday, I said that I feel like this movie and album are a good pairing. And then David said, that makes me think you're not going to like the movie because I don't think you're going to like the album. And I just had to think, do you not like... I never considered that it was you don't like the music.
Yeah.
I thought this was going to be like, you'll give it a 3.5 and we're going to be locked into the Kesha effect the whole time, but you'll be like, yeah, it's all right. But
I mean, it's also like, I don't hate it because...
Yeah, 3 is average for you.
You know, it's not like I'm giving it everything 2s, but it's kind of just like, I'm just bored.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get to the twos later, it sounds like.
Oh, yeah.
Track number 4. One of your favorite songs, maybe. Don't Talk. Put Your Head on My Shoulder. Written by Brian Wilson and Tony Asher. Lead vocals are by Brian Wilson. I think this is a nice, sweet ballad that's got a bit of a haunting atmosphere. It has a good string section, which I love, and it makes it feel very cinematic. I gave this one a 3. I liked this one a little bit more than the previous 2 and the next one.
I want to ask you something.
Yeah.
Did you say that this was going to be one of my favorites because it's a ballad?
I said it would be one of your favorites because it's a ballad and because it has strings, which feel a little bit more like it could be something new that you could like latch onto, I guess.
Right. So there's this trend of me liking ballads, especially from like older stuff. That being said, there's also a trend of me not liking ballads that are pop. And it continued here. This is a 2.5, ironically. I like that it's different, but it kind of just felt drawn out and a little bit annoying to me, to be honest. It just didn't work. I thought a ballad would work better for me, but it didn't work for me. It worked less, at least.
I'm going to guess that this isn't the number 2 best album of all time for you.
No.
Yeah. Not for me either.
I don't get it. I'm sorry.
I think it's good, but it's not number 2. I don't know.
We'll get there when I get
I put 100 gex over it.
I mean, I would rather listen to this than 100 gex, sorry. But
okay. Yeah. I had to ask, or I had to lead you in that direction, exactly. I guess. Track number 5, I'm Waiting for the Day. Written by Brian Wilson and Mike Love, lead vocals by Brian Wilson. This song is about waiting for the day that your lover will commit to a relationship. This is the one I said. This feels like an attempt at a Beatles song, but with worse lyrics and less catchy melodies. Musically, it sounds nice, and I appreciate the doo-wop elements, but it is not interesting to me. But I also said shout out to the tack piano, which we first heard on Coldplay's album. It comes up in a few of the songs on here. It's got a very distinct sound, and I like it a lot. This is a 2.5, though. I don't care about this song.
Yeah, I think it's better than the last song for me, but I completely agree. And this is the specific song where I first started to compare it to the Beatles, just because it just, I don't know, it put the Beatles into my brain.
It feels like a Beatles song.
Yeah, it really does. And that's really where I first started thinking about, wow, like imagine being a kid and like hearing this all your life. And then you hear the Beatles. Like, I understand why people went crazy over the Beatles, which is not a knock against the Beach Boys. Like, you can like both, obviously. It just like, it's kind of like when something new comes into town and is really different and feels fresh, like you can latch on very strongly. This is ultimately still a 3. I think it's better than Don't Talk, but it's still in line with like the rest of the songs where I'm just kind of like, meh, okay.
Yeah, to me, this song is the Burger King to the Beatles' McDonald's.
Yeah.
Although I think I would rather eat at Burger King than McDonald's. So do with that what you will.
I would rather eat at The Habit.
Oh, hell yeah. I miss The Habit. Honestly, that's better than In-N-Out. I stand on that.
I won't be mad at that. I like them both equally.
That's a good choice. I do want some Dave's Hot Chicken, though. We got one.
Have you tried it?
Yeah, I've had it multiple times in LA. I had it a bunch, and we have one here now.
I tried it for the first time last week, and it's pretty good.
It's really good. It depends on the level of spice you get, though.
I got hot, and that was yummy.
Okay, yeah. That's too much for me. I do medium, because medium is pretty spicy, actually. I feel like
I gotta try it then.
It depends on the location, though, because I went to one in Koreatown, and their medium, I was like, my mouth was burning, and I've had medium before, and I was like, that is not medium. It was like red when they put it on there.
I will say, this might be crazy to a lot of people, but I prefer Raising Cane's over Dave's Hot Chicken.
I don't know if that's crazy to a lot of people. People love Raising Cane's. I don't get the appeal, though. I think it's pretty salty. I think the sauce is good, but it's just kind of like, I don't know.
I really like it.
You got to have Culver sometime. That's real fast food. Oh.
I do want to try Culver's. Yeah.
No, I just had their chicken sandwich like a month ago. Best chicken sandwich I've had.
Does it beat Popeyes?
Oh, yeah.
Because
Popeyes is fine.
Oh, no. Popeyes is the best chicken sandwich ever created out of all the ones I've tried. It's delicious. I won't say anything until I try Culver's, but let me just say, as far as I'm concerned, Popeyes is the king of the chicken sandwiches, and nothing can beat it ever.
Do you ever eat at racist Chick-fil-A? Homophobic Chick-fil-A?
No. I mean, I've been there a few times, but ironically, they opened up one near my house.
Fuck them. Okay, anyway, track number 6.
Let's go to them on the Sunday. Anyway, back to it.
Track number 6. Let's go away for a while.
That's what the audiences are saying after our tangents. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Written by Brian Wilson. This song was also known as The Old Man and the Baby.
Oh.
And Let's Go Away for a While. And then in parentheses, and then we'll have world peace. I wrote that I'm a big fan of having instrumental pieces on your album. This is cool and unexpected. I gave this one a 3.5. Do you hate this?
I don't hate this, but I don't like it any more than the other songs so far.
Okay.
I will say I do like having an instrumental piece, and not just because I like soundtracks, but I think it's nice to have it in there. It kind of changes things up a little bit. That being said, it still sounded like their other songs musically to me, so it didn't change that much. So it's still a 3, but at least like it's a little different.
Yeah, it is.
A little bit.
Track number 7, Sloop John B. This is a traditional song arranged by Brian Wilson. Lead vocals are by Brian Wilson and Mike Love. It's a Bahamian, I think that's how you say that word. It's from the Bahamas, folk song.
Oh.
It was originally published as The John B. Sales. And Al Jardine contributed the new chord progression, but was not and is still not credited.
That's crazy.
And this is my opportunity to say Mike Love had to sue Brian Wilson in the Beach Boys, the rest of the Beach Boys, to get credit for writing these songs in the 90s.
That's crazy.
Because they just didn't want to give him credit. The problem seems to be that Brian Wilson is like an asshole. And maybe he's one of those musical geniuses who's just like terrible to deal with. But from everything I've read when researching for this album, it sounds like he was just not a good person. So
yeah.
Shout out, I guess.
I mean, what would be a band from the early to late 1900s without some like interpersonal fighting in the band?
I mean, you don't even have to say early to late 1900s. I would say ever.
Honestly, yeah.
There's always someone that doesn't get along with everyone else in the band, and it's usually the lead singer / primary songwriter.
It's usually the lead singer / primary songwriter, or in the case of the Beatles, just everyone.
True, yeah.
Towards their later, yeah.
Yeah, it's Yoko Ono's fault. Sure. I don't like the lyrics of this song, and the song feels incomplete, but I did think that the arrangement was nice. I gave the song a 3, but I don't remember doing that. I feel like this is more of a 2.5.
That's interesting because...
This is your favorite?
I actually found the production of this to be interesting compared to the other songs. And this was actually like pretty good to me. This is a 3.5. This is my favorite song on the whole album. I don't know. It just worked for me. Like I was listening to it and I was like, oh my God, I remember this song compared to the other ones. And
interesting.
It's more interesting.
I probably don't think I would have guessed that.
Yeah, I honestly would not have guessed it either.
I forgot to ask as well at the beginning. I was so focused on Brian Wilson being in love with his wife's sister that I forgot to write down, have you heard the Beach Boys before? And did you recognize any of the songs off of this album specifically?
I definitely didn't recognize any of the songs here.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, I bet I've caught some of their stuff on the radio before. But the most that I have heard consciously is a few little snippets here and there when, you know, they're used in movies or when you just hear it out and about. So I don't think I've ever listened to a full song all the way through.
That's surprising.
Well, I think part of it is the fact that, I mean, I don't know about my dad, but I don't think he really listens to stuff like this. And then my mom, I know she doesn't like the Beach Boys. So, hey, we're actually on the same track right now. But I think because of that, we never listened to them at home. So the only like moment that I can consciously remember hearing them is the fact that they like one of their songs plays for a little snippet in Dirty Dancing.
Going into this album, I had never listened to it, but I knew Wouldn't It Be Nice, Don't Talk, Sloop John B, and God Only Knows.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I know the Beach Boys. I feel like I know a lot of their songs.
I will say a podcast that I listen to, and that's very dear to my heart, that I've been listening to for years. It's called Podcast The Ride. It's about like theme parks. they love the Beach Boys, and I'm so sad now because
This is their magnum opus
Man.
too, so that means you're never going to like any of their music again.
yeah, exactly. I let everyone down.
Yeah, you let me down a little bit too because you're supposed to be the one that has more positive opinions than me.
That's true. I mean, I'm rating a lot of these more than you, even though I dislike them. So, or I like them less.
We're the same though. 2.5. My 2.5 is your 3 essentially,
That's true.
from what I can understand. Anyway,
Yes.
we have track number 8, God Only Knows, written by Brian Wilson and Tony Asher. This is the only song on the album with Carl Wilson on lead vocals. I said, you know, that I love a sad song, and this is no exception. It also has a great vocal melody, and it keeps you guessing throughout the entire song. And this is where I tell you a little bit of fun facts about the song. It's number 25 on Rolling Stone's Greatest Songs Ever, and it was re-ranked in 2021 as number 11. It's also Paul McCartney's favorite song.
What?
And has been called one of the best songs ever by Bono of U2, Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees, who I always confused with the Beach Boys when I was a kid for no reason, and Pete Townsend of The Who, and your icon, Hans Zimmer, called it a perfect song.
Oh, wow.
This song is a 4 for me. This is my favorite on the album. This is a really good song.
So to you and to all the other people you named that know so much more about music and have better hearing than I probably do, I'm just gonna say you're wrong.
Is this a 2?
No, okay. It's not that far. This is a 3. It's still in line with the rest of the songs. This is just fully not for me. That's purely what it is. Like if you like this, I get it. If you love it, I can see it. It's just not for me. I will say I was fighting the urge to skip ahead, which is probably sacrilegious.
Should not be a 3, then this should be a 2.5.
No, but it wasn't like, oh, I hate this. I was kind of like, okay, I'm so bored. When is it going to finish?
That should be a 2.5.
I don't know if it should be a 2.5.
I'm arguing. Yes.
Okay.
If you feel like, if you have that inkling, like you can't finish the song, it cannot be an average score. It has to be lower.
Wow. So
Thank
I just
you.
totally disagree with everyone.
That's all right. This is interesting because I feel like this is the time where you've disagreed with the general public the most. And this might be the time I've agreed with the general public the most.
Yeah.
Number 2 album of all time, and you don't like it. That's some Brandon shit right there. If I say so.
And you like it? That's some David shit.
And I
right
like
there.
it. Yeah, exactly. And you're disrespecting Paul McCartney too. Wow.
Okay, I'm sorry, but he was always my least favorite Beatle, so I'm not that sad about that. No offense.
Whoa.
But to be my least favorite Beatle means that you're like musically more interesting than like so many people, like 90% of, artists out there. So that's not an amazing place to be.
Track number 9 time. I Know There's an Answer. Written by Brian Wilson, Mike Love, and Terry Sachin. I do not know how to say this man's name. Sachen. How would you say that? Sakin?
I don't even know.
Sachin? I don't know. Exactly. I have no clue. He was their manager, I believe. Lead vocals on this song were by Mike Love, Al Jardine, and Brian Wilson, 3 lead vocalists. The song was also known as Hang On to Your Ego. It's a song about Brian Wilson's ego death after taking LSD. It's tag piano time, bitches, and it's also bass harmonica time, which is insane and not an instrument that I would have expected to be on here. This song is unfortunately not good. Also, during the chorus, there's a disgusting high-pitched feedback sound in the right channel, and it's genuinely painful for me to listen to it. So this is by default my least favorite song because it hurt to listen to. Shout out to Reverse Track 9 Theory. I gave this one a 2.5, but because it sounds musically nice most of the way through, but I don't like this song.
Yeah, this song, I was just bored. I also want to say, I felt like my mind was kind of mush at this point. So it was very hard to give scores. I was kind of just like going with the flow. So honestly, a lot of the scores could change in this album.
AKA go lower.
Yes. But I was just like, it's a 3 because it sounds the same to me. There is some new stuff, like the sax kind of instrument, sax adjacent instrument. I don't know exactly what it is.
That might be the bass harmonica.
Okay, it's probably that. But it still like didn't really do anything for me. It's a 3.
Cool.
I guess, from what I remember.
Track number 10, Here Today, written by Brian Wilson and Tony Asher, lead vocals by Mike Love. I feel like this one is pretty fun, and it's been cited as an example of a song that embodies the style of Good Vibrations before it came out, and I can see it. Maybe that's why I like it more than some of the others on here. This one's a 3.
Yeah, it's fine. It's in line with the other songs for me. I think I also realized maybe one of the reasons these don't work for me, or maybe one of the reasons they all seem so similar to me, and that's, I think the fact that they all feel like they're going at the same speed to me.
You mean like the same BPM?
Yes.
I could see that.
Which maybe makes me like it more, like it all blends in together. It's a 3, ultimately.
I couldn't have guessed.
Oh, gee.
Track number 11, I Just Wasn't Made for These Times. This is another one of my catchphrases. Written by Brian Wilson and Tony Asher, lead vocals by Brian Wilson. Paul Tanner played the electro theremin on here, which he invented.
Whoa.
And it's the first use of it on a popular record.
That's really
which
cool.
is pretty cool. It's a theremin that sounds good, essentially.
Yeah.
It's the electro theremin. This is a classic example of me not having anything to say about a song other than it's good and I like it. This is a 3.
The title is how I think about this album, to be honest. I literally wrote, I am so sad.
End of story.
I guess I'll just throw out my last little thought. This song, to me, is also just very slow and annoying. So it's a 2.5. I am so sad.
You do have a least favorite, correct?
Yes. I mean, it could be any of the 2.5 songs, but I am reserving it for another one just because I feel like at that point I was just so done.
All right, it's the last one probably.
We'll see.
First, we got track number 12, Pet Sounds. Written by Brian Wilson, this song was supposed to be for a James Bond film.
Oh.
It was originally called Run, James, Run. And I said I could totally see this being in a spy movie. It's kind of fun. And I said, once again, I love the fact that there are instrumental songs on the album. It's almost keeping my attention more than just having all vocal songs, especially when it's recorded by a band with multiple lead vocalists. It's a unique decision to not have a singer on a song. I gave this one a 3.
I would love it if they had made a James Bond film that used this song, but if they kept the song Pet Sounds, because that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
That would be, I would love that.
Run, James, Run.
Not a very good title, to be honest. Pet Sounds is much better.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
I agree.
I do like the fact that, you have the instruments in this song kind of going hardcore, or however you want to say it. Because I do think it maybe breaks it up a little. And I think it kind of helped me because I was struggling in the second half. It's still a 3. I don't think it's anything special again, but it did help a little bit.
Final track time. Number 13, Caroline, No. Written by Brian Wilson and Tony Asher, lead vocals by Brian Wilson. This song could be about Carol Mountain, who Brian Wilson was in love with in high school, or about Wilson's then wife, Marilyn, or about Tony Asher's high school girlfriend, Carol Amen, or about no one in particular. You decide. The train sound is from an effects album called Mr. D's Machine, and the train sound is called Train Number 58, The Owl at Edison, California. I just wanted to say that because it's funny. No Hollywood Edge sound effects library this time, though. Also, Brian Wilson said it is unclear why the album ends like this. Not a direct quote, but he was just like, I don't know. I just kind of wanted to do something, and I don't remember what I was thinking. And I did it.
Tracks.
So, cool. I feel like this is a good way to end the album. I said, I know you don't feel that way. All the songs feel spiritually connected. I know you feel that way. And this one feels like a somber goodbye to this era. I'm sure you're excited about the end of this era. I gave the song a 3. I actually like this one all right.
I wrote down one note for this song. Are you ready to hear it?
I'm ready.
I wrote down Beach Boys. No.
Yeah, I figured it was some sort of play off of that.
It's a 2.5. This is probably my least favorite song just because I was fed up at this point. I am sorry, guys.
That's fair.
Like I said, Beach Boys is just not for me.
I wouldn't have expected that.
Well, that's the thing. I could see myself like enjoying pop from the 60s because there's like pop from later on in the 20th century that I do like, but this just does not work for me in any way. I guess I'll just throw out my score right now for the whole album. It's a 2.5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figured.
I thought about doing it a 3, but ultimately I was like, no, I need to do a 2.5 just because like I would not listen to this again.
Yeah, stay true, King. I actually am giving this a 3.5.
Wow. That's so much higher than I thought.
That might seem a little high because a lot of these songs I gave 2.5s and 3s, but I feel like as a whole, this album works really well for me, at least.
Right.
And I feel like the highs are quite high and feel like good, almost tentpole moments of the album where it's like, this is like a big moment. And then you kind of you go into this lull of 2.5s and 3s, and then you go back to another big moment, but it all feels connected and like it was recorded in one session, which I know it wasn't, but it was all around that similar time. I said that I like this album more as a whole than any song from it, except for God Only Knows, although I do think it works better in the context of the album as well.
I do wonder if I would like it more if they wrote more of their songs versus doing a lot of covers.
There's no covers on here.
Oh, okay. I take it back. I latched onto what you said earlier.
That's
okay,
probably how they did their earlier albums. This is all written by Brian Wilson.
I'm sorry, Brian Wilson, but no.
I think you would have liked this better if it was all covers.
Honestly, yeah, because I probably would have liked some of those covers.
You're right, exactly. But yeah, I gave this a 3.5, and I was not blown away by it, but I was impressed. That's what I'll say. Do I think it's the second greatest album of all time?
Hell no.
I don't think it's that high.
Hell
but
no.
Yeah, exactly. But I think it's good. So this one is going to be the lowest 3.5 that we've done on here. So it'll be below Biggie, Ready to Die. But I think it is deserving of a 3.5 because I like what they did ultimately. Well, not they. I like what Brian Wilson did because he didn't really let the other band members have a say in the album.
Which, hey, maybe if he had, I would have liked it more.
Exactly. Yeah. And ironically, my favorite song on here is the one that Brian Wilson does not sing lead vocals on, and his brother does. So shout out to Carl.
That's right. Shout out Carl. And shout out Mike Love.
Yeah. Shout out Mike Love for suing Brian Wilson.
Yes, exactly.
And getting credit for these songs.
I may not like Beach Boys, but I like Mike Love.
Nice.
Purely for that fact.
And I like the 1960s in LA. And I'd like to continue our conversation on the 1960s in LA with a very special movie that is very near and dear to your heart.
And not only because it's set in San Fernando Valley, which is where my heart is in Los Angeles, because that's where I was born and raised. First of all, I'm going to give you an IMDb logline. But I did want to say, if you don't give this a 5, I will do something crazy. I couldn't come up with anything.
That's all right. I do want to say, though, that you're killing me, Smalls, because you haven't even said the name of this movie yet.
I haven't? Oh, we're talking about The Sandlot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's obvious. I feel like anyone that knows me knows I like this movie. I adore this movie. I know we're going to talk about this later, but I grew up with this movie. It's very near and dear to my heart, not just because I grew up where it's set. But yeah, I'm so excited to talk about this and to hear your thoughts.
Then I'd like to say one other thing before we get into it. If you love this movie so much and you grew up with it, how do you not care about baseball?
I think because watching baseball in a film is very different to watching it in real life.
Have you watched playoff baseball, though?
No, I haven't. Maybe I would like that more. The thing is, I also don't dislike baseball.
The stakes are higher.
I think the issue for me is I was never around people that watched it. That's another thing.
Which is crazy because you're in LA and the Dodgers are like a religion in LA.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, all my friends, at least like all the friends that I grew up with, also weren't really into sports. I think that's ultimately why.
Grew up with a bunch of fucking nerds. No, I'm kidding.
Exactly.
I don't care about sports.
Well, hey,
really
why do you
either.
think I know about this stuff so much? But no, I mean, there's literally like quite a few movies involving baseball that I love. And I love watching those movies, but
Moneyball.
I've actually never seen Moneyball, ironically.
I haven't either, but I want to watch it.
We should watch it.
Sounds good.
But the other movie I was actually referring to is A League of Their Own, which is another amazing movie.
Yes, I have heard of this.
Incidentally, Madonna is in.
Oh, yeah.
Little connection.
Didn't we just talk about this
episode.
like 2 weeks ago on the Madonna episode? Yeah. That's why I've heard of it.
But yeah, I don't get me wrong. I like would get into baseball. I want to get into baseball, actually.
I think you should get into baseball as long as you're not a Dodgers fan.
Well, I was about to say, I am hereby going to proclaim my support for the Angels, which they're the worst team, but I don't care.
I will say it is kind of insane that you can pick 29 teams besides the Dodgers and you choose to actively be a fan of the Angels.
Yes.
Shout out to friend of the show, Dante, who is a fan of the Angels because he is from Southern California.
Exactly.
But, you know, you have a choice in the matter right now.
I am supporting my friend. So,
yeah. And you could support your other friend and choose the Milwaukee Brewers.
I will do that. That's my second team.
Nice.
But after that long tangent, I'm going to throw the IMDb logline at you. And you got to tell me what you think.
I'm ready to catch it. I got my mitt here.
Here goes. In the summer of 1962, a new kid in town is taken under the wing of a young baseball prodigy and his rowdy team, resulting in many adventures.
That's all right. I don't know about young baseball prodigy. He is one, but that isn't like super important to the story.
Yeah.
And then also his team, they feel more like
it's a group,
a collective team. Yeah. I mean, I guess it is technically his team, but
I do think that it is a very hard film to like put into a logline though.
Yes. And that's something that we'll talk about as well, is the story aspect of the film, because it feels like there's more than one story going on.
We will definitely talk about that. That being said, I'm going to get the credits out of the way. The movie is directed by David Mickey Evans, which, hey, that's David and Michael, me and my brother. It's produced by Dale De La Torre and William S. Gilmore. It's written by David Mickey Evans and Robert Gunter. The cinematography is by Anthony B. Richmond. The film is edited by Michael A. Stevenson, another Michael. The music is composed by David Newman, another David.
Let's go.
Let's go. And it's distributed by 20th Century Fox, which means that Disney will release a remake or a sequel in the next 10 to 15 years. The film stars... Now, I included all the kids, so we have a long list, plus some of the important supporting characters. So here goes. Tom Geary, I'm not 100% sure how you pronounce that. Apologies. Mike Vitar, Patrick Renna, Chauncey Leopardi, which that's an amazing name, I just got to say. Marty York, Brendan Gwynton Adams, Grant Gelt, Victor DiMattia, or DiMatteia, I'm not 100% sure how you pronounce it either. Shane Obedzinski, Dennis Leary, Karen Allen, James Earls Jones, and David Mickey Evans narrating, which I did not know. Now, obviously, based off the credits, you can tell that David Mickey Evans is very much involved with this film, and that's because this is kind of just his childhood in a way. And the whole incident with the dog kind of happened to his own brother, whose name was Scotty.
Oh.
One summer in the 60s when they were kids, they were the new kids on the block, and Scotty went to a neighborhood game of baseball. And he had been bullied by the kids, but he decided to kind of go to them and try and become friends with them so they would stop bullying him. And when a ball got hit over the fence, he agreed to grab it. Kind of hoping that would make them friends. When he went over the fence, he found that there was a vicious dog named Hercules there. Now, the dog was chained up. So Scotty was like, oh, I'm fine. I can go grab the ball. But as he was going to grab it, Hercules' chain broke and he bit Scotty in the leg.
Damn.
So he actually did bite him, yes. So this, obviously, you can see the correlation to the final script. And Evans brought all of this plus more to the film. And he felt that writing the film with Scotty actually becoming friends with the group would be a cathartic way of forgiving the boys that bullied him and his brother. Now, I don't have too much to say, but we will talk about casting a little bit. I believe that Mike Vitar and Tom Geary, who play Benny and Scotty, were cast first. And they actually... Evans actually told them to hang out for several months before they got together with the rest of the boys because he wanted their, bond in the film to be as real as possible. And it worked. They actually became such good friends that when they met the other boys, the rest of the group thought that they had been friends before they were cast.
Wow.
So it really worked, and I think it translates into the film. And not only does the whole group of, not boys anymore, but the whole group of actors that plays the boys still get together, Geary and Vitar specifically have remained good friends.
Shout out.
Shout out. And in a lot of ways, the way that the film was cast was finding boys that just fit with the character very well and kind of just brought their own self to the character. Patrick Renna, who plays Ham Porter, said, quote, "They found the character in all of us in real life. Sure, we were good actors, but we didn't have to act too much. I definitely was Ham, and Chauncey was Squints, and Tom was Smalls. Mike was Benny. He was the leader. He was the coolest. He was the best baseball player, true to life." So they kind of just found all of that, and we got along real good. And they really got along. It sounds like filming was a great experience for all of them. They all lived together in an apartment building during filming and would spend all of their free time together. And I believe that most of them would consider that summer to be the most fun summer of their childhood, which I think that's pretty awesome. Especially because I feel like a lot of times when kids are in movies, they are like kind of abused.
Literally, yeah. I was gonna say that.
Literally. So I'm happy that they had a great experience. So when it came to filming, the crew looked for a lot of neighborhoods with houses that had been built in the 60s. They specifically shot in 2 locations, and those were, and I wonder if you can guess what those were.
I looked it up because I was curious. I thought, where in the valley is this? Because the mountains kind of look like the ones behind Burbank, but not really.
That's because it's not the valley at all. It was Glendale and Salt Lake City, because it turns out that's what looks like the San Fernando Valley in the 60s the most.
Glendale, California, or Glendale, Utah?
That's actually a good question. I just saw Glendale.
Oh, interesting. I saw 2 locations in Utah. I saw Salt Lake City and some other city around Salt Lake City.
Then it was probably Glendale, Utah.
I don't know if that's a place, but maybe they shot it like on a soundstage in Glendale or something. I don't know. Anyway,
that's also true.
I saw Utah,
that could have been it.
But yeah.
Yeah, they definitely shot in Utah. They also got lucky. They found this large plot of land that was owned by the neighboring homeowners and made a deal with them. So they built a bunch of stuff there. They built the baseball diamond, the treehouse, and Mr. Myrtle's house. And the baseball diamond is still there to this day.
Wow.
And I believe that's in one of the locations in Utah. So, hey, I guess that's one reason to go to Utah. Now, I don't have a lot to say, but I do have some fun facts. The vomit scene was achieved using split pea soup, baked beans, oatmeal, a little water, and movie gel.
What on earth is movie gel?
I have no idea.
That sounds disgusting.
It does sound disgusting. I mean, I would imagine that it's something to just make it a little thicker.
Yeah.
But honestly, the other items are already very thick, so I'm not sure.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. They also, so they used paint guns to send it through the air, and some innocent bystanders were actually hit. So that's especially disgusting for them.
Damn.
Some other fun facts. One of the boys was discovered looking at Playboys in the treehouse. Very 90s.
Which one was it?
I don't know. I would think like Chauncey or one of them, you know?
Yeah, it was Squints, for sure.
Yeah, it was Squints,
that's what
right?
I think.
That's what I'm thinking too. And something else involving Squints. During the scene where he kisses Wendy Peppercorn, Evan's only direction to him was, "Don't open your mouth." And the last note that I have is that the older Benny, like I believe the adult Benny, was played by Mike's brother Pablo.
Shout out.
That's right, shout out. There is actually not that much info about this movie, at least that I could find like online. That's kind of all I have.
You didn't mention the one other thing that I thought you were going to.
What was that?
Which is, you hinted at Disney making a sequel to this.
Well,
did you not know about the 2019 show that never was?
I didn't know about the show, but I knew about the movies that were released after. I was going to talk about that in a sec, though.
Yes. Well, there was a show that in 2019, when Disney bought 20th Century, they were going to make, and it was delayed by COVID, and then it was just canceled because of the strike. But it was going to be the original cast, but like aged up somehow. I don't know how they were going to do it.
Wait.
It was going to be a Disney Plus show.
I heard about this, I think. I completely forgot. But I mean, yeah, they even made sequels to this movie. There was a Sandlot 2 that by all accounts is not good. And then I think they made a couple ones after.
I was going to say, did you see it?
I've seen bits and it does not look good, to be honest. And it was also like directed and written by David Mickey Evans. So I don't know. I also want to say this movie is so full of iconic lines, not just "You're killing me, Smalls." So I do have to ask you, do you play ball like a girl, Brandon?
I probably do.
Well, I 100% do. So don't worry. You're in good company.
Yeah. Have you ever played baseball?
I have tried. I cannot throw.
I played t-ball when I was younger and I was terrible at it.
Yeah, I was not one of those kids that could throw or anything like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's why we wanted to be in Hollywood.
And then we found out that we couldn't be there either. Anyways.
Exactly. There's no place for people like us. It's almost like Brian Wilson wrote a song about this.
Literally. And that's why we're podcasting. That's why we're podcasters now. The movie came out in 1993 and was a hit. Its budget was $7 million and it grossed $34 million. So really good. It also received positive reviews from critics, although some did consider it to be a kind of shallow nostalgia flick, which, yes, well, no, sorry, take out the shallow part, but yes, it's a nostalgia picture, but it's an amazing one at the same time. So regardless of what critics thought, though, it became a cult hit on VHS and DVDs. I read somewhere that it made a further $76 million through VHS and DVD, which is crazy, and is obviously a favorite of multiple generations at this point, especially millennials who grew up with it in the 90s. And to this day, it's very popular and is considered by many to be one of the best sport and coming of age movies ever made, which I completely agree with. And like I said, there were like multiple sequels, but none of them matched this film.
It's hard to make sequels like to movies just in general, you know?
Well, especially to a movie that's this good, in my opinion, you know? And I feel like it's kind of hard to make a sequel to this that tries to follow similar storylines without it feeling just like a rehash that's just worse.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's all the notes I have on it. And honestly, my questions are kind of minimal this week, just because I feel like we will just get going talking about it in general. But I did want to ask you, was this what you expected?
In a way, yes, but also no. And I want to say something that I read.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Roger Ebert said this feels like a Christmas story for the summertime.
Yeah.
And I was not expecting that element of it because it is almost like vignette-like, although it does have an overarching narrative throughout the story. And I thought that was very interesting. And I've realized that I do like those type of movies, but I feel like I can never connect to them in the same way I can with like...
Well, okay, kind of speaking to that. I know for me, the fact that it is very vignette-like and I don't know, it just follows like their adventures, even though there's this one overarching adventure kind of, has always just reminded me of my childhood, even though I obviously did very different things to these kids. And not just because I didn't play baseball.
Wait, you did things to these kids?
No, compared to these kids. Oh my God.
No, I know. I had...
You had to, huh?
Can't pass off an opportunity.
You had to. No, but it's like, even though I did very different things, I feel like this movie just reminds me of my childhood.
It feels like a summer.
It feels
like fully.
Literally like a summer.
Like there's different parts of the summer. Like each vignette is like a month in the summer or like a few weeks.
I wanted to ask you, did this speak to your childhood at all? Like, did it make you think about that?
Not really. I didn't have friends really when I was younger. So not particularly, but it speaks to an idea, like the ideal childhood, I think, yes. And if I had sports talent, I may have had friends because that's kind of a prerequisite for living in this part of the country.
Yeah.
But I also did want to say about the vignettes, which is kind of what I thought you were going to say, is it feels almost a little bit more like a TV show than a movie sometimes because it's like ways, episodes almost. Like the vignettes are like self-contained, but then they're not because they bleed over into the next episode. And it's like, it kind of all fits into that overarching story, which I feel like this would be a really good TV show that they were going to do for Disney Plus. Like, I feel like I would like this more as a TV show than a movie.
I mean, I love this movie, so I wouldn't go that far, but I will say I would have honestly been intrigued by the TV show. If the Disney TV show would have been good, I think I would have loved it. Because I do think that this would also, like, this way of telling a story would work very well as a TV show.
For sure.
Ultimately, like, I think films like this do work for me, storytelling wise, because I think the vignette like approach is important to evoke kind of what you said, like evoke a summer.
It's a series of adventures.
Yeah, it's a series of adventures. You're watching like the passage of time. I think that's why the film works so well and makes me think of my childhood, even though it's very different to what you see in this film. So ultimately, like, I love this way of telling the story, but I can also see it working as a TV show.
I want to say one thing real quick. Actually, two things. The first one is there are no red curbs at the corner of the intersection, which is how I knew it was not LA, because that's an LA thing.
Yeah.
And then second is, does this movie feel like LA to you, even though it's shot in Utah, when they very easily could have shot it in LA? Does. Okay, I agree with that.
Not only does it feel like LA, it feels like San Fernando Valley specifically.
Yeah.
I obviously grew up here, and in a lot of ways the valley is different what it was like back then. It's much more developed now.
It was a lot whiter back then too.
Yes, that too. But I also think the valley is one of the areas of LA that hasn't changed as much as a lot of the other areas.
I agree with that.
I remember one of my high school teachers, shout out Mr. Amato, he was telling me that the Ventura Street that runs through the valley feels like LA in the 90s, which makes me think that it probably also feels like LA in the 60s too. So this always made me think of the valley, even when I was a kid watching it. And that was at a point in time when I didn't know that it was supposed to be set at the valley. Like, I just guessed that it was, just because it felt so much like the valley to me.
Yeah, you weren't paying attention to the part where he says, I moved to the San Fernando Valley in like 2 minutes in.
Of course not.
Yeah.
My attention span was like 2 seconds long.
Exactly. You're too focused on looking at the beautiful mountains in the background.
Yeah, exactly. Which I love mountains, and I'm so happy I live in a place with mountains. But doesn't have anything to do with this.
God, it does. I mean, we talked about fucking chicken sandwiches and the Beach Boys. That doesn't have anything to do with anything. We're all over the place.
So the San Gabriel Mountains that ring the San Fernando Valley. No, I'm kidding, obviously. I kind of had two things left to ask before I talk about a specific moment that I really want to talk about. But I wanted to ask, does this work as a comedy film? Because I know a lot of people point to it as a coming of age and nostalgia film, but I also think that it is a comedy at the same time.
Yeah. I feel like...
And I don't think a lot of people talk about that.
It's not like super funny overall. I feel like it is definitely a comedy film, but it's much more of a coming of age film, in my opinion. Like,
it is.
Ultimately,
yes.
The thing that you get from it is that was really sweet. Like, that's the feeling I walk away with. Mm-hmm. Not that was really funny. And I like that. And I think that works. And that's how it should be.
I completely agree. I always view this as a comedy film, but not as a traditional comedy film in terms of like, oh, this is making me laugh. I should have phrased it differently. I guess what I meant more is, does this remind you of what you and your friends found funny as kids? Like, does it evoke that feeling? Because I feel like its comedy is very specific to,
yes, for sure. Yeah, it's not like comedy, overly funny, but it is definitely like that.
That's what I was trying to...
era. But I mean, definitely now with kids being more online, it's like, there's a little bit more raunchiness.
It's different,
in the current like preteen and teen comedy, but that definitely feels like the 60s and like kind of that idyllic time of growing up.
I do wonder how kids these days would like view this film. Just because I feel like things are so different now.
Very different. I mean, especially since when we were growing up. I mean, kids are getting iPads at like age 5.
I know. Because I was going to say, like, we grew up with new technology, but the internet was still very new. Phones obviously didn't become a stable thing until we were in our preteens. So it was obviously very different. I'm very intrigued to how kids would find this film nowadays, to be honest. But talking about kids, I kind of have to ask what you thought about them, i.e. the performances.
Scotty and Benny, definitely the two standouts. Everyone else, they're okay.
Whoa.
I feel like the catcher, I liked him a lot, but I wasn't really invested in any of the other kids, really.
I mean, I do think that part of that is that Benny and Scotty have more to do.
Yeah.
In the film.
They also have more chemistry with each other.
They do, which I think is because they hung out for several months before they started filming.
Exactly, yeah.
But I will say, man, that's Ham Porter slander. He is the funniest kid in this whole thing. And I think he fits his character so perfectly.
I think he's good, yeah.
I love him.
He's the other one that I would say.
Like,
right? Ham is the catcher, right?
Yes.
Do you know what a catcher is?
Yes, the guy that catches the ball.
Correct. Yes, behind home plate.
Yes.
I had to make sure.
Yes. He's the one that calls the other player or tells him that he plays the ball like a girl. It's that guy. The s'mores guy.
Yes, the s'mores guy.
Yeah, he's also a stand-up for me, personally.
I think out of all the other kids, he is.
No, it's definitely like the other kids don't have as much to do.
Yeah.
So I get it. But I do agree about Benny and Scotty, especially Tom Greer as Scotty. Like, I don't know. I feel like he has to do so much while seeming to not do that much, if that makes any sense. And he really pulls it off.
Yeah. He's the everyman kind of guy. Yeah.
The last thing, I'm out of questions, but I do want to bring up one thing. Obviously, everyone knows I love this film. It's very near and dear to me for all the reasons that I stated before. It reminds me of the Valley, which is my home. It reminds me of my childhood, even though it's very, very different than the childhood in the film, obviously, especially because I support the Angels, which should tell you how much I know about baseball. First, let me say, I watched this movie all the time as a kid, and it was always such a fun experience. Like I would watch it, and afterwards I would be like, hell yeah, like I'm not pumped, but I'm very happy. And watching it as an adult is a slightly different experience because it obviously still makes me very happy to watch it. It makes me very nostalgic, etc., etc. But one moment has definitely stood out to me as an adult that never really stood out to me as a kid. And that's the ending montage. I think that moment is honestly the best moment of the whole film because it speaks to what growing up is like. And it's not something that you notice as a kid because you haven't gone through like growing distant from your childhood friends yet. So watching it as an adult, I think is a very different experience because it honestly makes the film very sad to me because it reminds me of like the people I don't talk to anymore just because like you move on with your life. And that I think makes the film for me as an adult and turns it into more than just, oh, this is a really fun movie that reminds me of my childhood. And that's kind of like one of the biggest reasons it's a 5. And I will throw that out right now.
I was hoping that you wouldn't say that so I could say I'm predicting this would be a 5, but I'm pretty sure that everyone would have guessed that anyway.
I mean, everyone knew. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. And that's kind of one of the things that I talked about as being one of my favorite themes is the bittersweet like feeling of real life.
Yes.
Of, the world moves on. We all go on with our lives and we lose touch, but you always have that memory, the good memories. Mm-hmm. And I liked that too. I felt like the montage with the kids like fading away, I was kind of like, all right, this is kind of like Disney.
I enjoyed that. I mean, I feel like it fits with the mood of the film or like the style, but that's just me.
I guess it's time for me to give my score. And
yes.
You can run me out of town. That's okay. This is a 3 for me.
Yeah.
I
mean, that's not a bad score. I'm okay with that.
I enjoyed it. I don't think it's one of my favorite things ever. It's a good time. Yeah, I like it better than A Christmas Story, which is like what I would directly compare it to, because I think there's just more heart to it. And I like the ensemble cast a lot more than just having one kid.
I do want to ask, is the thing that kind of gets in the way the most the storytelling, like the way that it's told? Is that what gets in the way the most for you?
I think no. I think it's my inability to connect with characters this young. For me, when I think about coming of age movies, I want the kids to be like 13 to 15. That's like the sweet spot. That's what I write.
Right.
Like when I'm writing coming of age stories, it's always like early high school, late middle school, early high school, because that's when I feel like I kind of like became a person, if that makes sense. So I feel like childhood, and also for me, my childhood was kind of like I said, I didn't have friends. I didn't do sports and stuff. And then I was also homeschooled after a while because I hated like going to real school.
Right.
So I was a very independent and I guess lonesome child. But that was kind of my own doing. Some of it was my own doing. So I feel like this period just doesn't like stick out as much to me as like late middle school and high school films do more. So I feel like that's kind of ultimately the big thing for me.
That's also very interesting to me because I feel like in a lot of ways I was also a very lonesome child. I had friends, but I didn't have a lot of friends. And obviously when you grow up in LA, you don't get to see your friends a lot outside of school.
Yeah.
Because you have to drive everywhere. So in a lot of ways, I was very similar. And it's interesting because I feel like this movie affected us in a different way because I feel like maybe when I was a kid, I felt like I could become friends with the kids in the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it was also very dear to me because it's kind of like, oh, look, I have even more friends now.
I can see that. I do think that this would have affected me differently if I saw it when I was their age or a little bit younger.
I was about to say,
100%.
I do think that it would have affected you differently. And I'm sure that if I watch this for the first time now, it wouldn't be so near to me if I hadn't watched it as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm sure that plays into it 100%. I think it's ultimately one of those kinds of movies that you kind of have to grow up with. Not to fully connect, but I guess to be fully moved by it, for lack of a better way of saying that, which is not a bad thing because I feel like everyone kind of has that. I'm sure you have music that you connect with at a deeper level compared to someone that like didn't grow up with it or something like that.
For sure. Yeah. A lot of the pop music from my childhood is like, sometimes I listen back to it and I'm like, wow, this is not good, but it holds a special place in my heart. There's specifically a lot of rap music from the early 2010s. That was like a dead period for like any good rap music. And there's some stuff that's like just absolute dog
like
shit.
How the hell did people
I'm like, oh, I know every word. It's so good. And like, yeah, it isn't, but you know, it's special to me. But yeah, I agree. I think this probably would have hit me in a different way if I watched it when I was younger. But the only movie I remember watching when I was really young, like around this age, was Air Bud. Oh. And I don't remember anything about that movie. But I remember liking it when I was like 9.
We'll have to watch it at some point.
We definitely will because that is high cinema.
I don't have much else to say. I mean, I feel like we laid all our cards on the table.
We really did. This was a 5 for you. I didn't expect anything less, and I'm glad. I do want to ask, I have one final question for you about this movie and about 5s in general.
Yes.
Where does this movie rank among the 5s and your favorite movies of all time?
In many ways, this film, you know, it's not technically as proficient or deep as a lot of the films might be in my 5s, but I feel like maybe because I grew up with it and maybe because it deals with coming of age and nostalgia, I feel like this film affects me on a deeper level than a lot of the other films in my 5 and just on more than a lot of other films that I also love. And I feel like a part of that is because I have always been drawn to films about like friendship and the ending of like that childhood those childhood friendships. That's something that has always been something I've been interested in, and something that kind of speaks to me very deeply. So because of that, I feel like this would be near the top, if not the top, out of everything we've watched so far. I feel like it could definitely get dethroned by other stuff in the future, because there are other films that, I do love more at the end of the day, but this is very near the top, even including all of those films. So yeah, this is high up there.
Is this in your Letterboxd top 4?
It's not, but it will definitely cycle through, because I do try and cycle through my top 4 on Letterboxd. Yeah, I will say I haven't done it in a while, so I should probably do it soon, just because I like doing it too. Because I don't know, when people are like, this is my favorite film, or these are my 4 favorite films of all time, I kind of call bullshit, because how is that possible? But anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling the same thing with my albums as well. I've rated, I believe, 4 albums 5s on the podcast so far, and I knew 22 Million's my favorite album of all time. And now I'm thinking, you know what? It might be Valley. That might actually be my favorite album of all time, and I'm going to cycle through these albums, my 5s.
Well, and I imagine all the other albums that would be 5s, or that you've given 5s, it's the same thing. It's hard to choose the top one. So yeah.
It is hard to choose. There's some where I know like they're not my absolute favorite short list, but they're still 5s because they're so special to me, or they're so good. But I don't know. There is that upper echelon where it's just like, damn, like this is hard to choose, and maybe I don't want to.
Yeah.
But I was just curious about that, because this is the movie I feel like I've heard you talk about the most out of any, both on the podcast and in real life. So I was just kind of curious where it was among your favorites.
Well, yeah, and I think that is a reason why it is so high up for me.
Yeah.
I would say out of everything we watch is probably number 1. Probably.
I want to see you write some movies and TV shows about this period of time, because we need more of them. I love coming of age stories. That's one of my favorite things ever.
It is one of my favorite genres for sure. Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah. Shout out to being a lonesome child. And then we were both drawn to doing one of the most solitary things ever, writing.
Yeah, literally. Shout out to introverts.
Shout out. All you introverts listening, all you extroverts listening, you're good too. Ambiverts, though, pick a side.
Come on. All you introverts, reach out to us.
They won't. Who are we kidding?
Send us an email. Well, they won't. That's true. But if you want to become friends. But all you extroverts, shut the hell up.
I was going to say, all you extroverts, email us, upcpod@gmail.com.
Oh, that's true. Actually, we want you to email us and then shut up.
And maybe you want to even leave a review while you're at it, too.
That's true. Because you can actually leave a whole review with words in it on Apple Podcasts. And I know you can't do it on Spotify, but you can still leave a rating. Hint,
and you can leave a comment on the episode on Spotify, too, which is also good. And if you want to keep up to date with everything we're watching and listening to, our link tree has links to our Letterboxds, our Rate Your Musics, and everything you ever need to know is in that link tree, which is in the description of this episode and on our bio on Instagram.
So you can see me give The Sandlot a 5 and put it in my top 4.
Yes, because I know everyone here wants to do that. They want to see what are the other 3 movies in David's top 4. I don't know. I think Amadeus is in there. That's my guess.
It's in there. So you guys should go and see what the other ones are.
Yeah, before they get changed out.
Exactly. And if you're wondering, oh my God, what is next week's episode? Or, oh my God, is there another bonus episode coming out today or tomorrow or next week or yesterday? Where can they check that out, Brandon?
That'd be our Instagram, which is at Uncultured Pop Culture. It's also in our link tree.
That's right.
The Instagram is in the link tree. Then the link tree is on the Instagram as well. I know it gets a little confusing, but I promise it makes sense.
It's called the Infinity Loop.
Yes, exactly. We've uncovered a new hole in the space-time continuum with our link tree and our Instagram.
Exactly.
So make sure you check that out before we, start a black hole or something. That's about all we got to tell you. So we'll see you next Sunday. Bye.
Bye.